Hey, Lauren Burke here. I am the founder of NoteHouse, Atlas DIY, Immigration Nation, and Camp Equity. I love building systems and tools to help nonprofits succeed. I am a consultant at the Possible Lab, and this video is supported by NoteHouse, my customer relationship management system, SaaS system, client relationship system, whatever you want to call it. Which is available for social impact organizations. So please check it out, getnotehouse.com. But today we are going to be walking through my grant matrix. Now, the grant matrix exists and is something that I made because so often when you're starting a nonprofit or you're working at a nonprofit, you have this mindset of like, there's money out there and I could have that money and I have to be chasing after it. But the truth is that you could spend a lot of time wasting writing grant proposals that you might not actually be the best fit for. You might be spending time writing grant proposals that aren't worth it because of the time it's taking for you to do. So I created a matrix to help you determine whether or not you should actually be going for that grant. So this is the matrix itself. The link will be down below so you can access it. And if you shoot me an email, I will email you back a way to make a copy of it so you can have it yourself. But here's how it sort of works. So there are 5 different categories that we have that we want to look at when we're examining whether or not we want to apply for a grant. There's issue area, geography, connections, application lift, and the amount of funding. You're going to rank each of those areas from 1 to 5, and then you're going to get your total score, which will help you decide whether or not you're going to apply for the grant. Now, don't worry, I'm going to help you decide how you want to rank all of those. So we go to the second tab, and this has all our categories. Oop, I'm going to make this a little bigger so I can pull myself down here. Hi. Okay. So, and these are just guidelines, honestly, that I tried to give everybody. I'm not going to read through all of these, but basically for issue area, it's not worth many points if it's a super broad issue area. Like, for example, here I said programs that help humanity, right? That's super broad. So you're not going to give it a lot of points for that. But say that the issue area is Black-led initiatives tackling plastic waste, and you are an incredible Black entrepreneur who is working on more sustainable recycling programs in rural America. I don't know. Then you would give yourself 5 full points because that would mean it's a really, really good fit for you. So let's go in. Let's actually just use that example because that makes it easy. So let's go in and we're going to give ourselves, we're going to go back to our matrix and we're going to give ourselves 5 points for issue area. And this will be, let's say this fund is called Strikeout Waste. That's a little nod to one of my friends. Okay, so say that the funder is called Strikeout Waste. Okay, so for issue area, we get 5 points. Now let's say the next is geography. Let's say that Strikeout Waste is open to any programs in the United States. That's pretty broad, right? And so for geography, we have 1 if it's international because super broad. I would give 2 if it's anywhere in the United States, or you say the continent of Asia. Now, I did put in geography that you want to make it as a comparison to the landscape of institutional grant making. So, for example, the United States might be only worth 2 points, but if you're working in, for example, Ghana, even though that's a whole country, you would want to give it 5 points because there simply aren't enough people. Come on, funders, give more money to Ghana. There aren't enough funders giving money to that area. So in relationship to institutional grant making, you would give it a 5, which is why it says here a region or a country that may not otherwise receive much funding. So anyways, we're going to say that this was the United States of America. So we're going to give it a 2 for this fund. Okay, next is connections. I hate that this is a part of this grant writing matrix, but it is because we are kidding ourselves if we pretend that having connections and knowing grant makers helps you when you're applying for grants. People also say never apply for a grant cold. I don't think you should do that. That's why I have this matrix, because even if you get 1 point in one area, you might do really well in other areas, which I'll talk about in a second. But you want to have it be a part of your decision-making metric. So just because a funder says, we'll take grant applications from anyone, the truth is, and the sad truth is, and this is part of the nonprofit industrial complex, is that they likely do have connections with some of the people that are going to be applying. They're going to see those applications more so. So I should make another video about like tips and tricks for grant makers if you're applying cold, but that's not this video. Anyways, let's say that this the entrepreneur that we're working on this grant for and we're helping decide if they should apply for it. Let's say that they are writing this grant cold. Let's say the organization has never heard about them, because I just want to give that example. So you're only going to get 1 point. So this organization has never heard about it. So we might be thinking a little bit like, uh-oh, we're not looking too good. Okay, but we'll see, right? Okay, application lift. I was going to say, this is why it's important, right? Because even though you have a 5 and you're like, oh, this is exactly for us, you want to think about it, think through it. Application lift. I'm actually going to come back to the application lift in a second, and I'm going to go to amount of funding. So if the funder only gives out a couple of grants, or the grant itself is worth less than 1% of your annual budget, you want to give this a 1. So say that your annual budget is $1 million, and this is a grant for $5,000, that's just going to get a 1. Or say that this is an international prize, and they only give out 2, that's going to get a 1, right? But if there are 10 plus opportunities for funding available and it's worth at least 10% of your budget, then I would give it a 3. And say it's something amazing, like 100 plus grants are giving out in an amount significant to your organization, that would be a 5, right? So I'm going to say that this made up organization, Strikeout Waste, has said that they're going to give over 20 grants. And each grant is for $100,000. And we're going to say that's significant. So I'm going to give this one a 4. It's a 4. Okay. So now we'll see, we're at 12 points, and you'll see why each of these is really important. So we're going to go back to application lift. If it's a super long application, like 25,000 pages, and you're going to have to write all new language and do all new supplements, and it's going to be like crazy town, give it a point, right? If you already have all the language and you can fit this into your workflow, give it 4 points, right? You sort of work through this. Let's say in this application, I'm going to say we're going to give it 4 points because they have the materials on hand and they can fit it into their workflow. Maybe because they've hired me to help them do it. So we're going to give them that 4 points. Okay, great. So that would give us a 16. A score of 16 puts us in the yellow zone, which is probably apply. Unless the reporting requirements are nuts, it's likely worth it. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll end up getting a grant, especially if you're applying for grants from the government, but you'll end up getting a grant and the amount of reporting that you have to do, or the amount of, say it's a fellowship and you have to go to like monthly meetings that you find might not be useful for you and your organization. For other people, they might be. I'm not saying just meetings themselves aren't great. Or say that it's like they want you to track all of your data. That could be in a way that you feel unethical about, all these things. Unless there's a reporting requirement like that, then I would go for it. I would apply for it because there's really no harm. The application lift we know is going to be pretty easy, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's watch what happens if the application lift is a 2. So the application lift being a 2 means it's going to take a lot of work. That means maybe apply. The only reason why I would apply for this if it's useful for the organization to write the application in general. I'm going to make another video about something that I created called a grant language library, which is basically where you make sure that you're taking all the best grant language you've written so you have an easy place that you can just like come back to it. Let's say that this foundation, for example, yes, it might be the first time we're writing this application, and so that's why it's going to take a long time. But also, like, we've got to start getting some language for these grants, right? We want to start being able to get grants, so it's kind of worth it for us to try applying for it. So, like, why not? Now, we would only do that, right, if it otherwise adds up to be an 11 to 14. Let's say the issue area is also really tiny. No. Then, oh, I got us an 11. Okay. Let's say the issue area is tiny and the amount of funding isn't great. Then it would be a 9. Just don't apply. Don't apply, right? Because it's too broad. You don't have any connections. The application's going to be a pain in the butt. The amount of funding isn't that great. Like, don't go for it, right? Just don't do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Don't do it. Now, let's say that this was like spot on issue area. Let's say that it was talking about rural areas in the United States. So we would want to give that a 3. Let's say the connections, we still don't have any, but the application lift, we're going to give it a 4. And the amount of funding, oh, I just realized, we'll say we have like a little bit of connections. Okay, great. And the amount of funding is like a 5. Oh, that's still a 19. See, it's hard to be like, absolutely, I'm going to go for it. I didn't think through this video well enough to be like, oh yeah. Okay, let's say we know somebody who works for the foundation who is like, what do we put for our 3? If someone who knows the funder is pulling to put a word for you. Okay, let's say somebody on my board was like, hey, my cousin has this foundation. I think you'd be an amazing fit. I'm going to flag your application for them. Again, is this fair? No. Is this equitable? No. Is my job to sort of talk to you about how the real grant work world works sometimes? Yes. Am I trying to dismantle it also? Yes. But anyways, I digress. Let's say you've got a good connection there. We'll give it a 3. And let's say that the geography, we have all our grant language already. I know it's hard. It's hard to get up to that. Okay, finally, we brought it to 21. So that means go for it. What have you got to lose other than the grant? Haha, get it? But if it's a really good issue area, if the geography is pretty good, if you've got some connections, if it's going to be easy to write, if it's a great amount of funding, then go for it. So that's the grant matrix. I hope that made sense. Again, you can download it below. Please check out NoteHouse and tell your friends. And please keep sharing these videos and let me know if they're useful or if I'm just, a lady sitting in a room with my cat purring by my laptop thinking I'm making something useful, but it's actually not. Bye.